Hello friends, how you doing? Day 1259. Hope you're doing amazing on this Monday night. Yes, start of week. Let's go. Today I just want to talk to you about the effects of our thoughts on our physical reaction. And so I had seen a reel by it was an interview by Lewis Howes with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And so he shared something that to me I was like, wow, okay, this is significant. And so he talked about how 75 to 90% of people who walk into a healthcare facility are due to psychological and emotional stress. So what that means is what's caused the health condition is the emotional stress, and that people are out of balance emotionally. So how are you doing with your emotions? How do you deal with stress? Mental, emotional, right? Because that in turn can actually affect how your body reacts to it. So if you feel bad, if you feel sick or feel weak or whatever, that could be most of it due to just what's going on in here. And so what are you doing to actually be better in that area? And so one of the comments actually, some psychologist, he wrote down, I'm a psychologist and have been studying human behavior for much of my life and have come to the conclusion that the disconnect from reality that many of us experience is due to the false ideas and beliefs into which we have been indoctrinated and conditioned from the time we are born. And that, as we grow beyond these false ideas, we come more directly into our own direct experience of reality, our own individual responses, and this is what is happening now with many awakening to our own direct experience. And I think that's very true. You know, when we come to the world, we come as a blank slate. And so what do we believe? What do we value? All that is basically kind of indoctrinated. And until you actually are willing to ask some seriously hard questions, you're kind of just running on somebody else's program. You're actually living somebody else's life, not actually yours. And so my challenge to you, my encouragement to you is to ask yourself to self-reflect. Like, why do you do what you do? Why do you believe what you believe? Most of the time, maybe it's from movies, maybe it's from our parents, our teachers, social media. But I encourage you to really, really use some critical thinking and just ask yourself why you think the way you do as well. And so, how do we move forward? How can we actually become better with our psychological, mental, and emotional health? Well, for me, I believe it's about learning how to regulate your emotions. And that is not easy to do because we are emotional beings. No matter how much some of you guys think you're very logical, we are inherently more emotional than we are logical. And so, how do we regulate our emotions? Well, first step, recognize that difficult situations are an opportunity for you to actually grow in this area. What happens a lot of time is when life hits us or we are in a very uncomfortable situation, sometimes we avoid. We avoid conflict, we avoid dealing with our emotions, we run away. We don't want to turn into it. But that is actually the exact time and opportunity for you to actually turn into the difficult situation and grow through it. But since it is something hard, most of the time we don't want to actually deal with it because the emotions overwhelm us many times, right? Maybe it's something that's left unsaid. Maybe it's something that's in your heart that you need to share with somebody, but you don't because you're afraid of what they think, or potentially rejection, or whatever the response is. But the truth is, it's still there. Whatever issues you have will always be there until you are willing to deal with it. And the only way you can deal with it is actually to turn into it. Depending on the situation or the issue, it might be something that you need a professional, maybe a psychiatrist or a counselor or a therapist. It all depends. Obviously, with this live, I can't go into everything, but there are always resources. You just got to be willing and open to actually working on your issues. And that way, as you do that, you can actually understand yourself more. And that way, you can understand why you have intense emotions certain times. Because the only way you can actually learn is by reflecting. And the best time, I believe, is when you are triggered. So when somebody triggers you, that's your opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for triggering me so that I can learn something about myself. Because the more you can learn about yourself, the more control and power you'll have over your own life. And so that obviously is easier said than done. I've had to do a lot of work to understand my triggers. I still have some, but I can recognize it now, and I can just sit back and say, oh, why do I feel the way I feel? Why do I feel so right now? Oh, maybe it was most of the time somebody probably said something or did something that went against your core value, or one of your core values. And so when that happens, we get triggered. So maybe somebody says something disrespectful and you value respect. It could be a number of things. So, but whatever it is, when you get triggered, usually it's one of your core values that are being violated. And so what you have to do is actually use that opportunity to self-reflect. Why do I feel this way? What's the source? Where did this come from, right? Maybe in relationships, you always self-sabotage. Well, why is that? Well, you gotta reflect. Typically, it's an inner wound from childhood, and until you actually get down to the bottom of it, you'll continually do the same patterns over and over again. And when it comes to relationships, you are actually affecting other people. So what type of ripple effect do you want to have? If you're out there dating a bunch of people and are not healed, you're continually going to actually hurt other people continuously, because hurt people hurt people. And if you're not willing to actually look in the mirror and deal with it, if it's a deep wound, then you'll probably have to go to a therapist, go to a psychiatrist, get some help, professional. And hopefully you have a supportive partner that can support you through that time. But anyway, that's kind of all I want to share tonight. But yeah, when I saw that stat, 75 to 90% of people who go to a healthcare facility is due to emotional and psychological stress. Like, what? Really? Like, wow. So it's not even like physical, So that's, but after studying human nature and psychology and just people in general, that's probably quite accurate. And so my hope for you is that you are willing to do the hard work, which is to learn about yourself, to self-reflect, to not run away. Because I see so many people run away from conflict, run away from intense emotions, run away from their feelings, when the truth is, on the other side of that is everything you're actually looking for. Peace, love, joy, happiness, relief. All of that is on the other side of you facing your own stuff, I'll say. But anyways, I hope you're all doing well. I just want to say I love you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye.